There are days that open doors, and there are days that close them. But few days carry the weight of both at once. Friday is one of them. For centuries, across cultures, it has been marked as the moment when cycles turn, when endings meet beginnings, and when a person's energy is most exposed to unseen currents. The chosen ones feel this more deeply than others. They sense that Friday is not an ordinary day, it is a threshold. And at a threshold, you must stand guard. When someone lays even a single finger upon you on this day, it is never just contact, it is an exchange. The ancient Shaolin masters taught that physical touch carries the invisible imprint of thought, emotion, and intention. On Friday, this transfer is amplified. The body becomes a vessel more open than usual, the spirit more vulnerable. To allow careless contact is to risk absorbing fatigue, negativity, or even imbalance from those who walk beside you. This is why the teaching is serious, and why those called the chosen must listen carefully. In this teaching, you will learn why Friday is the day when boundaries must be strongest, and how the Shaolin path of discipline, silence, and mindful presence protects the life force within you. You will hear how energy moves like water between bodies, how solitude becomes strength, and why protecting your space on this day ensures clarity and renewal for the journey ahead. Stay with me until the end, for these insights are not often spoken, and they carry the weight of generations who walked the path before us. Welcome to Shaolin Soulfire. If these teachings speak to your spirit, subscribe and walk this path with us. There's a saying in the old monasteries, not every hand that reaches for you is meant to help you rise. Some hands carry weight, and when they touch you, that weight becomes your own. The Shaolin masters understood this long before modern science spoke of energy. They observed how a single gesture, a single brush of contact, could shift the rhythm of a disciple's breath, cloud his focus, or ignite unrest within his heart. Physical touch, they taught, is never only physical. It is the meeting point of two rivers, and rivers always leave traces upon one another. One carries clarity, the other may carry mud. The moment they join, both are changed. When someone touches you without care, without intention, their unseen current flows into yours. It does not ask permission. It enters. On most days, a trained spirit may resist or balance this flow, but Friday is different. Friday is a turning of the cycle, a day when the mind and body naturally soften, preparing for renewal. Sensitivity is heightened, the gate of the spirit more open. To be careless on such a day is to invite imbalance. A single contact can plant unease, confusion, or fatigue that lingers far beyond the moment itself. This is why the chosen must treat their own presence as sacred ground. To guard your space is not an act of pride, but of discipline. You are not rejecting others, you are preserving the clarity that allows you to serve them better. Just as a monk protects the flame of a single candle against the wind, so too must you protect the flame of your energy against careless touch, especially on the day when the winds blow strongest. In the wisdom of the ancients, there is a teaching called Wu Wei, action without force, effort that feels like no effort at all. It is not laziness, nor is it surrender. It is alignment. When the archer pulls the bowstring in harmony with his breath, the arrow flies true. When the river flows within its banks, it reaches the sea without strain. This is the way of Wu Wei. On Fridays, the chosen are tested in this discipline. The world around you grows restless. People rush to finish their week. Emotions spill over, and conflicts rise more easily. Yet the master does not step into the storm. He holds still. He does not fight the noise. He moves quietly beyond it. To remain untouched is to remain aligned. True strength is not found in meeting every push with a push, or every word with a reply. True strength is found in preserving your rhythm when the world tries to pull you from it. On Friday, careless touch or needless entanglement can drag you into currents that do not belong to you. One conflict, one unnecessary exchange, and your inner balance is disturbed. Wu Wei reminds you, you do not need to resist with force, you need only step aside. This practice is subtle, but it shapes the spirit. The chosen one learns that harmony is not something to chase, it is something to protect. By guarding stillness, By refusing the pull of others' unrest, you keep the inner flame steady, and from this steady flame, clarity arises. In Wu Wei, there is no struggle, no loss of energy, only the quiet mastery of flowing with the rhythm that life itself provides. There is a discipline in Shaolin practice that begins not with movement, but with stillness. It is the art of presence, being rooted so deeply in the body that no distraction, no wandering thought, and no foreign influence can unseat you. The masters would say, if you lose the breath, you lose the ground beneath your feet, for the breath is the bridge between the body and the mind. And when you walk across that bridge with awareness, you arrive fully in the present moment. To protect your space is not only to keep others at a distance, it is to dwell so completely in your own body that nothing external can easily penetrate. Each inhalation anchors you, each exhalation clears away what does not belong. The posture of the spine, the placement of the feet, even the weight of the hands resting quietly, all of these become reminders that you are here, you are whole, and you are not open to careless intrusion. The Shaolin monks trained this awareness not just in meditation halls, but in every act, walking, eating, even lifting a cup of water. By being mindful in small things, they built a fortress in the subtle. Presence became their shield. When you are present, no energy can enter without your knowing. No touch can sway you without your consent. On days of heightened sensitivity, such as Friday, this practice becomes even more vital. The chosen one must walk like a mountain, firm, steady, unshaken. Presence in the body is not a rigid defense, but a quiet mastery. It is the discipline of living each moment awake, and in that wakefulness, you guard the sacred space of your being from all that does not serve your path. Energy moves in silence, often unnoticed, yet always present. The ancients compared it to water, for water knows no boundaries. It slips, it seeps, it blends. When two vessels meet, even a single drop can alter the whole. In the same way, when two people connect through touch, there is always an exchange, a transfer that does not ask permission. On most days, the wise can balance this flow. Through discipline and practice, they recognize what belongs to them and what does not. But Friday is different. On this day of transition, when the body leans toward renewal and the spirit softens, the gates of energy stand wider. What flows in, whether light or heavy, settles deeper than usual. To allow careless contact is to invite currents that may cloud your clarity or weaken your rhythm. Consider how easily water carries what it touches. A drop of ink spreads until all is stained. A trace of salt changes the taste of the whole sea. The same is true of energy. One touch from a restless spirit may plant fatigue in your body. A hand heavy with anger may leave a weight upon your heart. And though the contact is brief, the impression can last, shaping your mood, your choices, even your path. This is why the path of mastery calls for vigilance. To guard your energy is not to live in fear of others, but to live with awareness of the unseen exchanges that shape life. By choosing carefully whose touch you permit, you honor the sacred flow within you. Especially on Friday, when the current runs strongest, protecting this flow is the act that preserves your strength for the journey beyond. There are moments in life when silence becomes the greatest teacher. The Shaolin path has long honored these moments, treating solitude not as emptiness but as nourishment for the spirit. Before transitions, before stepping into new cycles, the masters would withdraw into quiet, knowing that clarity is born in stillness. Friday carries this same quality of transition. It is not meant to be crowded with noise, chatter, or endless demands. It is a day when the chosen must step back, reflect, and prepare the mind for renewal. Just as a warrior sharpens his blade before battle, the spirit must be sharpened in solitude before entering the next cycle of days. Without this discipline, the edge becomes dull, the focus unsteady. Guarding your space on such a day is more than personal preference. It is a sacred act of protection. In solitude, you hear what the world drowns out. The breath becomes louder, the heart beats steadier, and the mind, once restless, begins to settle. In that stillness, you discover what truly matters and what is mere distraction. The Shaolin monks often taught that silence before a threshold preserves the purity of intention. What you carry forward is then your own truth, not the noise of others. This discipline requires courage. Many fear solitude, for it confronts them with themselves, but the chosen ones embrace it, understanding that only in silence can the spirit reveal its deeper wisdom. On Friday, when energies shift and the body prepares for renewal, solitude becomes the vessel that holds you steady. To enter it willingly is to honor your path. To emerge from it clear is to walk into the next day with strength. In the quiet halls of Shaolin, the masters often spoke of attachment, not only to things, but to the emotions and demands of others. Each person who reaches for your time, your energy, your presence, places a claim upon you. Some claims are gentle, some heavy, but all pull you outward away from the center of your own being. The chosen ones learn that to honor their path, they must first honor the boundaries of their own spirit. Touch, in this understanding, becomes more than physical contact. It is a symbol of worldly claims, a hand on your shoulder, a word pressed too insistently. Even a gaze can carry expectation, and expectation draws energy. On days like Friday, when the spirit is sensitive and the currents of life run stronger, these claims can overwhelm, distracting you from your inner alignment. Detachment is not withdrawal from life, but a mindful choice of engagement. Saying no is not rejection. It is affirmation. It is the quiet courage to prioritize what is sacred over what is trivial. The masters taught that every time you resist being pulled into someone else's turbulence, you strengthen the currents within yourself. Your energy becomes more coherent, your focus sharper, and your presence more luminous. The chosen ones recognize that their path is higher, and that the demands of the world, however urgent they may seem, are not always aligned with this higher calling. By standing firm in mindful detachment, by refusing to surrender their energy to unnecessary claims, they preserve the clarity and strength that make their purpose possible. In this practice, each boundary becomes a declaration. This is mine, this is my energy, this is my sacred path, and I will walk it undisturbed. There is a subtle rhythm to life, a current that flows beneath the surface of thought and action. The Shaolin masters called this current qi, the life force that animates body, mind, and spirit. On ordinary days, qi moves steadily, weaving through the system unnoticed. But on transition days like Friday, it becomes heightened, sensitive, and remarkably receptive. The chosen ones feel it, a quiet awareness that energy is both more vibrant and more fragile. To cultivate qi is to honor it, to protect it from unnecessary drain. Every interaction carries a trace of energy, every word exchanged, every hand extended shifts the flow. On days of sensitivity, the careless demands of others, the weight of distractions can scatter qi like leaves in the wind. The masters taught that shielding oneself is not selfish. It is a conscious practice of preservation. By reducing unnecessary interactions, the vessel remains intact, the current undisturbed, the spirit centered. Each decision to step back, each refusal to engage in trivialities, strengthens the inner reserves. Qi, once protected, flows with clarity and power, radiating stability throughout the body. Even stillness becomes a practice, standing, breathing, feeling the heartbeat, letting energy settle like water in a calm pond. The surface may appear quiet, but beneath it, qi gathers, ready to nourish thought, action, and intention in the days to come. The chosen ones learn to respect the subtle laws of this life force. They do not squander it in idle conversation or careless contact. They guard it with the quiet discipline of one who understands that true strength is cultivated, not taken. On Fridays, when the currents run strong and sensitivity peaks, this practice becomes essential. To shield qi is to honor the life within, to walk the path of mastery fully prepared, with energy undiminished and spirit undisturbed. Courage is not always loud. In the quiet chambers of ancient monasteries, the bravest acts were often unseen, practiced in the discipline of the self. Warriors and monks alike knew that the strongest shield is not forged in steel, but in clarity and boundaries. To protect one's space, to declare what may and may not enter, is an act of courage that few truly understand. Allowing no one to lay a hand on you is not arrogance. It is the affirmation of self-respect, a recognition that your body and spirit are vessels of purpose. The chosen ones learn early that energy, focus, and intention are precious commodities. They cannot be squandered on careless contact or idle interference. Each boundary set is a quiet assertion of mastery, a refusal to allow external forces to dictate the rhythm of your life. The courage to maintain these boundaries is subtle yet powerful. It is present in the way the monk walks past the crowd without distraction, in the way the warrior holds his stance without yielding to pressure. It is the inner voice that says, I honor my purpose, I honor my energy. On days when sensitivity is heightened, such as Friday, this courage becomes essential. Without it, the currents of others' expectations and impulses may wash over you, leaving confusion where there should be clarity. Mastery is measured not only by what one achieves, but by what one preserves. By protecting your space, guarding your energy, and standing firm in self-respect, you ensure that your mission remains intact. Boundaries are not walls of separation. They are pillars of alignment. The chosen ones understand that courage is as much the refusal to yield as it is the willingness to act. In this discipline, the spirit remains unshaken and the path forward clear. There is a strength in silence that the ancients valued above all else. In Shaolin philosophy, not every battle is won through action, not every challenge met with force. Sometimes the greatest mastery lies in preservation, in holding the center, in allowing the energy within to remain pure and undisturbed. Non-contact is not weakness, it is an assertion of inner sovereignty. Every person carries an aura, a subtle field of energy that radiates beyond the physical. When touched without care, this field shifts, absorbing fragments of thought, emotion, and intention from the outside. The chosen learn that by protecting this space, by maintaining non-contact where possible, they conserve not just energy, but clarity. The mind becomes sharper, the heart steadier, and the spirit unclouded. This is a discipline of restraint, a deliberate act of self-preservation that requires awareness and patience. On days like Friday, when sensitivity is heightened and the currents of life are in motion, the power of non-contact is amplified. Each decision to remain untouched, to move without unnecessary engagement, is a subtle act of strength. The energy you preserve becomes a reservoir, flowing silently within, ready to fuel the body, mind, and spirit in the days to come. By holding your presence in this way, you become a vessel of force without aggression, a clarity that cannot be scattered, a resilience that does not need to prove itself. Stepping into Saturday, your energy remains aligned, renewed, and whole. This is the silent power that the masters spoke of, the strength that comes not from striking, but from stillness, not from reacting, but from preserving the integrity of one's own being. In this quiet mastery, the chosen walk forward undisturbed, carrying the unshakable force of inner alignment. The path of self-mastery begins with recognition that your energy, your focus, your presence are sacred. The ancients understood that life is not merely lived outwardly, but inwardly. Every choice, every gesture, every boundary shapes the quality of your spirit. Protecting yourself on a day like Friday is more than a practical measure, it is a ritual of honoring the higher self. In Shaolin practice, discipline is the foundation of mastery. It is the repeated act of choosing alignment over distraction, stillness over chaos, clarity over confusion. By guarding your energy, even in subtle ways, you train the mind to discern what nourishes and what drains. The chosen learn that each moment of protection is a lesson in self-respect, a declaration that the life force within is not to be squandered. To value your energy is to value your existence. The body, the breath, the mind, each carries the potential for action, insight, and presence. When left unguarded, these gifts are scattered in small but cumulative ways, leaving the spirit fatigued and unsteady. The chosen understand that mastery is cultivated daily through conscious attention, not by chance. Every act of mindfulness, every refusal to yield to careless influence, strengthens the reservoir of power that sustains them. By practicing this discipline consistently, the chosen become unshaken by the world. External events may rise and fall, emotions may surge, but the inner fortress remains intact. Energy flows where it is intended, clarity guides each decision, and the higher self remains unobscured. The path of self-mastery is not a distant goal. It is walked moment by moment, breath by breath. Protecting yourself, honoring your energy, and holding your center transforms ordinary days into steps along this sacred journey, shaping a life guided not by circumstance, but by conscious mastery of the self. As we have seen, Friday is more than a simple day on the calendar. It is a sacred threshold. For the chosen, it is a time when energy sharpens, sensitivity rises, and the spirit becomes more attuned to the currents of life. By honoring your boundaries, protecting your chi, embracing solitude, and staying fully present, you cultivate a clarity and strength that carry you through not just the day, but every moment that follows. Remember, your body, your energy, and your presence are sacred. Treat them with care, and you will find that Friday transforms into a shield of renewal, a moment to reset, recharge, and step forward aligned with purpose. Each act of mindfulness, each choice to guard your space is a step toward mastery of the self. Take this lesson with you beyond this video. Practice it quietly in your daily life. Observe your energy, respect your boundaries, and honor the sacred rhythm of your own being. Through these small yet powerful disciplines, the path of mastery becomes real, tangible, and deeply personal. If these teachings resonate with you, and you wish to continue walking the path of wisdom and inner strength, please like this video and subscribe to our channel Shaolin Soulfire. Let us walk this journey together with calm, clarity, and the quiet power of the spirit fully awakened.